Is Vis Island worth visiting? If you do visit, what is there to do on Vis Island? How do you even get there? All of these questions and more are going to be answered in this video. Hi, my name's Sumner and welcome to the Hobarts Abroad channel. My wife and I had the pleasure of spending a couple of days on Vis Island, and we're going to be giving our full review in terms of how to get there, what to do, and then ultimately, depending on the type of person you are and what you're looking for, is Vis Island worth visiting for you? If you find this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions or anything you'd like to add for other travelers along the way, then let us know in the comment section below. And lastly, if you like this video and would like to see more videos like it, then be sure to hit the subscribe button to follow all of our adventures through Croatia and throughout all of the world. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to it. So first, Vis Island is the inhabited island that is furthest from the Croatian coast. So getting there may take a little bit longer compared to some of these other popular islands in Croatia. However, the best way to get to Vis Island is via the port in Split. So Split is the second largest city in all of Croatia and the largest along the Dalmatian coast. And there at the port, you can get multiple options for ferry, especially during more of the summer months, and basically take you directly to the Vis port. And time will vary from maybe 1.5 to 2.5 hours, depending on the type of ship that you are riding on. Once you actually land in the port of Vis, there are many options for hotels and Airbnbs to stay on the island. For example, we stayed in an Airbnb that was just a 2-minute walk from the port, which is extremely convenient. There are many car rental agencies, bike agencies, and tourist agencies for different excursions as well as transportation around the island as well. And now that you've landed on the island, in terms of what to do once you're there, we're gonna start in the actual town of Vis and then move around the island and ultimately highlight some different sightseeing or activities that you may be interested in. First, beginning in the town of Vis itself, where the island gets its name from, there's this beautiful little promenade that goes along the shoreline with multiple amazing restaurants and vendors. Very close by, there's this small peninsula with this beautiful church and cemetery. The overall vibe is extremely chill and relaxed, especially compared to an island like Brock or like the old town of Split. So for some, that may be a little bit nicer, slow paced. Then about a 5-minute drive away is this old naval fortress that was built by the British in the early 1800s called Fort George that has now been converted into a restaurant and event area. Now, you don't actually have to dine in here to kind of experience some of the beauty. Actually, if you drive, there's a little parking area, and then you can actually walk around the fort for free. And the fort itself is kind of cool, but what's really neat about this area is this beautiful seascape where you can see white sailboats contrasted with the royal blue waters all around in the distance. There's even this very impressive and beautiful lighthouse very close, which I think you can actually maybe even stay on as well. But just kind of a nice little walking area with some beautiful views that isn't too far from the town of Vis in case you want to drive or maybe take a nice bike ride. Now, driving 25 minutes to the south, we arrive at the most iconic beach on Vis Island, which is Stiniva Beach. Apologies for the mispronunciations. So you can either arrive at this beach either via car or by boat through a tourist agency. And if you are coming by car, there is a place to park, but then once you park, it's a 20-minute walk down some slippery rocks actually to get to the actual beach itself. So just something to kind of keep in mind. And then another tip for you is if you're planning on going to Stiniva Beach, then what I'd recommend doing is trying to go around midday if possible. The reason is the sun is shining directly down into the kind of little gorge or that little area, the cove, where a little bit earlier in the day or a little bit later in the day, even by a couple of hours, the rocks in the area create a shadow, which makes the water a little bit cooler and really doesn't look as beautiful as some of these photos you see online, at least in our opinion. So kind of getting there, staying there and swimming around a little bit, I will say the experience was a little bit lower than what we expected. It was still nice, and it got really crowded because it's so popular. A lot of boats constantly coming in with new people. I think it was a little bit overhyped, and personally would recommend going to some other beaches on the island, none of which that I can pronounce, but I'll go ahead and throw them up on the screen here so you can take a look and maybe consider some of these beaches over Stiniva. Now, driving 25 minutes to the west, we arrive in the second largest town on Vis Island, which is the town of Komiza. This is a very popular port town with a ton of ships docked in the harbor, and even though it's not too far away from the town of Vis, it is a very different vibe. A bit more lively. There are a ton of really great restaurants. There was also this beautiful church that we passed by right as we were coming into town that looked like something out of a fairy tale. So super beautiful, nicer vibe kind of overall. But again, being a smaller town, not a ton of sightseeing destinations like you would expect in the old town of Split, Dubrovnik, and something else that's special about the town of Komiza is that there are certain boat tours that are available in Komiza that are not available in the town of Vis because of its location. And one of those kind of boat tours is to something called the Blue Cave. The Blue Cave of Vis is actually located on a smaller island off kind of the coast from Komiza, not too far of a boat ride away. And essentially it's one of these sea caves to where the majority of light, or the only real light that comes into the cave is via refraction from the sun kind of hitting the water and then coming up through the water into the cave, giving it this very kind of interesting blue vibe. Now, something to keep in mind is that you will never really know if you're able to go until the day of. And unfortunately, in our case, the water was way too high, and when the water's high, obviously the boat can't get in. So we were planning on going, and unfortunately we weren't able to go to the Blue Cave, which is kind of another one of those more iconic destinations on Vis Island. And they were also, I guess, shooting some kind of underwater documentary or something like that. So we weren't able to go the next day either, which is kind of unfortunate. If you're not able to go, something that Ali and I have noticed since starting our trip in Montenegro, going up through Bosnia, and then now in Croatia, is that pretty much every decent sized city by the coast has a blue sea cave excursion from, Kotor in Montenegro up into Dubrovnik, in Split, here on Vis Island. There are multiple options as well. And I'm sure that's the case in many countries, at least, in the Mediterranean, as well as probably other parts of the world. So something else to kind of keep in mind as well. And aside from the Blue Cave, there are a variety of tour options around the island. So for example, if you want to go to a specific destination, or for example, there are also boat tours that go around pretty much the entire island itself, stopping at places like the Blue Cave. There's also a similar place called the Green Cave at another part of the island, a couple beaches. You can see where the second Mamma Mia film was actually shot, also the submarine tunnel and a few other sites. And for us, just for perspective, we were quoted a price of $60 for one of these boat tours that basically lasted 6 hours going around the island, making various stops, like I mentioned, which actually seems pretty affordable. But we ended up not doing it just because we saw pretty much all of these sites already via car. So we'd just be basically paying twice. But just for some perspective into kind of what you can do on the island, as well as kind of how much it costs or how to do it. Now, obviously, there's even more that the island has to offer than the things that we discussed in this video. However, based on our research, our experience, talking to other travelers, these are absolutely some of the very best things to do on Vis Island, which hopefully help you determine, if you want to go, and if you do go, what to do, how long to stay, and all of that. But for us, given kind of the overall very almost kind of dead vibe, very calm, very, very chill, took a little bit longer to get to, once on the island, just kind of getting let down by Stiniva Beach, the Blue Cave, and some things like that. It just, honestly for us, if we had limited time in Croatia, we personally would consider other islands like Brock Island or Korčula Island, or even some other destinations within Croatia over Vis Island. And that's just our personal opinion. And of course, it definitely depends on what your goals are, what you kind of want to do personally. And regardless, we hope you found this video valuable. If you did, be sure to let us know by giving the video a thumbs up, comment with any questions or any comments that you have below in the comment section, and be sure to subscribe for more videos to follow all of our reviews and vlogs and journeys throughout Croatia and all of the world. And if you know someone who's planning a trip to Croatia or specifically considering Vis Island, be sure to be a good friend or family member and share this video with them. And as always, thank you so much for your support and for watching. God bless, and we look forward to seeing you on future adventures. Ciao!